I started to get messages from her. That's the best way that I can say that. And I was told by my mom, it's you wanting to keep her alive. It's you not ready to let her go. You were created to be a healer. All your life experiences have happened in order to bring you to this moment because you needed to experience them to be prepared for this exact day. I will continue to be that vessel to help women in one way or another with healing.
I think right now would be a perfect time to share that this podcast is officially sponsored. And this week's episode is brought to you by Juliana Barbati Consulting. Juliana is an expert in podcast SEO. She's worked with so many different podcasts and helped shows grow, helped shows get more eyes, helped shows get more ears, helped shows, get more followers. And I am honored to be working with her and have her team backing the podcast. So I'm very excited that they are the first advertiser to join the Round 2 podcast, first of many. So thank you, Juliana. And if you are looking for any sort of services to help your podcast grow, feel free to reach out to her. Her contact information is in the show notes. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Round 2 podcast. I am your host, Nikki Corbett, and coming to me today from Minnesota, I have Tara Wiskow. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Nikki. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me as a guest on your podcast. I'm excited to be here and have a conversation with you today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Did I say your last name right?
It's Wiskow, but yeah.
Okay. I should have asked, and normally I do. And then right as the words were coming out of my mouth, I'm like, I wonder if it's pronounced differently than I'm about to say it. Probably.
It's all good. It's all good. Most say Wiskow. And then I just remind them I'm from Minnesota. So it's the O.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how some names are so easy to either say or say correctly or remember. And then other times you can see somebody or something or an animal and you're like, I can't for the life of me remember what that name is. Like literally, even one of my best friends, she has 2 cats. They look different. One is gray and white. One is black and white. Very distinct, like very dark black and white and very light gray and white. And I've met these cats no less than probably 100 times. And just the other night, I was like, which one's the black one again? And she was like, you're joking. And I was like, I don't know their names. I just know the gray one likes to cuddle with me.
It takes me a bit to get when I know your name, I know your name, but I'm such a visual person that faces are so much easier. So family will say, remember this person? I'll say, you got to show me a face and then I'll tell you if I remember. Yeah. So names can be tricky.
Yeah. Well, it's like, it's also like too, like how some people with directions, like some people will say like, oh, okay, if you when you're leaving the neighborhood, take a left and then go right at the stoplight. And somebody will say like, go east and then go north. And I'm like, come on. Or like turn right at the farmhouse or whatever. And you're like, what farmhouse? Where's even there a farmhouse?
Yeah. Or the White House. I love when everybody says that house that's white and you look and 10 houses are white. Yeah. Like which direction am I supposed to go? I'm not sure. Yes.
It is just crazy how everybody is so different. Like my ex-husband, he was more of a location direction giver. So like he would call me and he'd be like, where are you? I'd be like, oh, I'm about to exit 29. And he'd be like, where's that? I'm like, that's literally the exit we take to go to our house. Like, what do you mean? Where's that? Oh boy.
So good.
Yeah. People are funny. Well, cool. Well, so how are you doing?
I am good. It's been an amazing day. It's been a busy day. So many energy clearings that I've been doing and just, busy. So coming and having this time to connect with you, I've been so excited for it because it's just this moment where I can just drop in and talk and have a conversation and do what I love, which is talking. So I've been looking forward to today.
Awesome. I'm glad. I had a meeting earlier with someone that I had not met before. It was kind of like one of those LinkedIn, just let's have a coffee and chat. And he was so nice. He paid me the nicest compliment. He was like, you're such a good listener. And I was like, thank you. I'm like, do you know how much that means to me? Especially because having a podcast, I need to be listening because the goal of my show is to highlight my guests' stories. So being told that I was a good listener, I was like, I was like, you just made my day. That was amazing.
That's awesome. Well, you earned the compliment, obviously, because you were listening. So you have to give yourself some credit here. I mean, yes, it was kind of him to give that to you, but you earned it. So that's an awesome win to achieve a goal that you've wanted to achieve, obviously, with the style of your podcast. So good work.
Well, thanks. I mean, definitely having this has absolutely made me a better listener because, like I said, it's like that's the whole point,
Sure.
you know, but because I mean, I certainly also like to talk. So
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not your story.
It takes practice. I've always been great at listening, but there was a time in my life that this Tribal Leadership is a fantastic book to learn about a listener. So I would have been a level 1 listener where I was thinking about what I was going to say before they were done talking. Right. So I had to work really hard to become that level 3 where you can actually paraphrase back what they just got done saying to you. So definitely progress that I had to or work to get to where I'm at now with the listening. But we don't realize how poor of a listener we are until it's brought to our attention.
No, it's so true. And because so many times people are just thinking about what they want to say next instead of listening to what the person that's speaking is actually saying. And it is a skill to be listening to somebody and have a thought, but it's almost like I envision like a pin board, like you just like pin that thought, but still listen to everything else. And then you're able to like reference it back and go, oh yeah.
Yes. Good idea. I like the visual of pinning it up. That helps you to keep it in a safe place and not lose it, but still tune in.
Yeah, definitely. So wait, when we first started chatting, which I know has only been a couple of minutes now, but you mentioned energy clearing. So tell me what you're doing there.
Yeah. So in my company, Be the Change You Need, I am an intuitive healer.
Okay.
And so women come to me looking for the ability to be able to move through something that's been blocking them. And for instance, this gal that came to me today that we worked through was this right side of her body has been unable to heal from an experience that caused injury to her. And when I dropped into her, I was able to tell that we had a lot of what is called discarnate energy, which would be energy from past living individual that is not ready to pass over. So oftentimes it's trauma related, it's maybe addiction related, and they're not ready to go cross over, go to the light because they still have a mission. They still have a mission that they want to live through, right? And so they find empaths. They find us women that are empaths and they take up, I call it residency because I don't know what else to call it. And I think it's the easiest way to look at it is they take up residency in someone that is in living form where they can still do their best to live out their mission or their purpose in their life. So when these women come, I'm able to drop in and I'm able to feel in their body where they feel it. And I'm able to then do a healing where we actually pull it out and clear it to give them that freedom from whatever is blocking them. So it's all things. It's all things that they come. It could be self-doubt. It could be struggles in relationship, inability to love themselves. There's so many different facets of need in order to heal. I mean, all things, to be honest with you, that we struggle with. It really is that internal healing that needs to be done in order for us to move beyond it.
Okay. I think that's so neat, but can I tell you what one of the first things that jumped into my mind was when you were saying that? Yeah. Do you remember that episode of Friends where that old lady died and she was like hanging out in Phoebe and Phoebe was acting like an old lady and like talking, like looking for the lady's husband and like talking about smoking cigarettes and stuff. It was so funny. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Which is kind of funny because when you think about it, when you take on this energy, you start to act in a way. Like when I first started to learn, when I got called into this calling, I was like, this is the most insane thing I've ever experienced. You know, this shit can't be real. Like it can't be possible, right? But we do operate from that being within us. We do say things, think things. I mean, there have been times in my life before I've done the healing where all of a sudden I'll radically say something like, whoa,
what was that? Why did I say
Uh-huh.
that? Where did that come from? And why, Tara? Why would you say that to that person? And I really truly believe it was because I had this negative energy within that was causing me to operate in a way that was out of alignment with how I truly would show up if it hadn't been there.
Interesting.
So totally a Phoebe moment going back to that episode. Yeah.
Right. So, okay. So how did you first tap into this level of intuition? Where did this come from?
I lost my sister. It'll be 2 years in June. She was my baby sister. She passed of cancer.
I'm sorry.
And yeah, it was very unexpected. I mean, I knew she was sick. If I'm honest with you, I knew that the outcome was not going to be the outcome that our family wanted. As soon as I found out that she had cancer, I immediately had this knowing within me of it's not going to be a good outcome. It's just not. However, I didn't anticipate that 5 months and 1 week later, she would be gone. And it just was rapid progression through the cancer. And so when Trisha passed, I started to get messages from her. That's the best way that I can say that. And I was told by my mom, it's you wanting to keep her alive. It's you not ready to let her go. It's you not being willing to let her spirit leave the earth. And, and that was my mom just speaking from her knowledge, her thoughts. And so I went with it and I said, okay, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't be doing this. And then about a month later after she passed, a month and 2 weeks after she passed, I was on vacation with my husband for our anniversary. And we went to this town in Minnesota, Stillwater, just this cool town with all these shops that you can walk for hours. And the day that we arrived, I heard very clearly, and I knew it was Trisha. It was, I need you to get a gift from me for mom. And she said it to me all 5 days. All 5 days that we were in Stillwater. And I ignored it all 5 days until the last day. I was like, okay, you can't ignore this anymore.
Yeah.
And when I finally listened and I said, okay, what do you want me to get mom? What am I supposed to get her and where is it? Because I had no idea, Nikki. I was like, I don't know what to get her. And she said, in this gift shop, very clearly, just this sentence that came in, this knowing. Like everybody that says that's not possible, if you just sit right now and you were to not say anything, but you hear in your head count to 5 and you count in your head 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's just like that's intuitively hearing it. You hear it. That's right. And so that's the sounds. And that's what comes through for me when I'm receiving these message downloads from spirit, divine, God, the universe, the higher power, whoever you speak to. And so on this day, Trisha said it's in that gift shop. There was a gift shop that my husband and I walked by every single time. I had no idea it was a gift shop. I had no idea it was a gift shop, right? So we go in and I follow the directions that I'm given and I find this coffee cup. Now, this is significant because my mom and Trisha were sewing coffee cup coasters right before Trisha passed. It was their way of keeping Trisha busy. And on the cup said, I'll always be with you. I'll always love you. You're short one. Trisha had a bone disease, so she was 4'10". So she was called Pee-wee. She was called the short one. She was called that. And so for this cup to say exactly that, I'll always love you. I'll always be with you. You're short one. And it to be a coffee cup. I knew in that moment that this was not me trying to keep her alive. This truly was what I had done the research and found it to be was the spiritual downloads coming from Trisha herself. That was what cracked me open intuitively, where I fully became open and started to look into it, research, really start to read about it to gain an understanding. And I went into a meditation. And prior to this, I'd never been able to meditate. I don't know if you do any meditation.
I feel like it's the bane of my existence where it's like, I try and I fail. And then I had a conversation with somebody one time and they were like, well, you go for walks every day. Like maybe walking is your form of meditation. And I was like, well, sign me up for that because I do walk every day. So then I was like, okay. And then I was actually with a friend a couple of weeks ago in Austin and she was telling me about this app that she uses that has these activations is what she called them.
Sure.
So she's like, you're not clearing your mind, but it's kind of like you're listening to whether it's like for courage or for confidence or positivity or whatever. So I have that in my queue to start up because she said that it's been really helpful. And she said that she also struggled with the mind clearing of meditation.
Yeah. It's, to each person, it's different. It's to each their own of what works. But when you're walking and listening to a meditation, it is just as impactful and powerful as sitting. And some, every movie you watch, it's like they're in this zen and they're totally like oblivious to everything. And to be honest with you, sometimes I think that myself or others feared going into meditation because what the movies show is that you're not aware of anything. So the house could be burning and you wouldn't be aware of it. Right. Which is so, it's so not true because you're pulled right out of it as soon as a doorbell were to go or a knock, you're brought back to your conscious state. For me, I was the same as you. Like meditating, I would sit there and close my eyes and then I'd like be one eye open thinking about everything I should be doing. And
It's like I'm making my to-do list and I'm like, why am I not like sweeping or doing something else that's on this list? Well, instead of,
Yes. Yeah, because it's ridiculous. I'm sitting here doing nothing. This is ridiculous. I've got so much to do. That was always my issue.
By the way, I don't know why I just used sweeping as an example. I don't have a broom. I don't know why I said that.
Well, for some reason, brooms are significant for you, and
I guess it's like cleaning things out,
I love it. So in this day, I decided I was home by myself. My husband was gone. He was working beets and it was beet harvest in the fall of October 2024. All three of my boys are graduated, so they're gone, and I'm this empty nester, right? So I decide that I'm going to do this training. It's this identity shifting training because I felt this like, you need to do this. You have no idea who you are, Tara. You have completely lost yourself and something's missing in your life, and you need to figure this out because let's be real. You're like mid 40s and you're not going to start getting younger any day soon. You got to start doing something. And I constantly was feeling like I just was not doing what I was supposed to do in life. And again, I felt like something was missing. So I go into this training and the gal says, we're now going to go into meditation. I was like, I've been loving this training.
Like, no.
I've been loving this. Now it's like, it's done. This is the ending point for me.
Yeah.
So I decided to just give it a try. Just open your mind to it, Tara. Like, what do you got to lose? Just do it. So I made myself center into it and I followed along. It was guided. She spoke us through it. And it came to a point where she said, you are going to come to this clearing. There's a bench, and on the bench is somebody seated and waiting for you. And as I approached, I was like, it's me. I'm sitting on this bench. And she said, this is your higher self that's here to meet you. And Nikki, it was absolutely incredible because in that moment, I've never experienced this in all my life. In any meditation that I've ever went through, I'd never experienced that. But in that moment when I sat down, and I get goosebumps now and energy chills as I talk about it. Instantly, my higher self said, I've been waiting a long time for this moment. You were created to be a healer. All your life experiences have happened in order to bring you to this moment because you needed to experience them to be prepared for this exact day and this exact time. You're a healer. The world needs you, and the time is now.
Oh my God, I love this.
Right? I came out of that meditation absolutely blowing, but there was no doubt in my mind that that was absolutely what I was being called to do.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be a healer.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember talking to my women, because I've been a weight loss coach for 11 years.
Okay.
And talking to my women, feeling so nervous about this, like talking to my clients and on our group coaching call, just discussing it. And one gal unmuted, she goes, I don't know what you're talking about. Every bit of your program is about healing. Like you heal us through self-discovery, self-love, and self-worth in order to lose weight. She's like, you've always been a healer. And so it was just
Isn't that crazy that you couldn't see it?
Didn't see it at all. And so ever since October of 2024, I've been following this path. I'm still a weight loss coach. I still do that work, but very broadly, very deeply going down this path as a healer. And it has finally given me the ability to say nothing is missing in my life because I am doing exactly what I've been meant to do and created to do all my life. Like this is what's been missing all my life.
Oh my gosh, that is such a cool statement. I
Yeah.
love that.
Thank you. I love it too. Like I really do. And it's so fun to be able to say that. And I get a little surprised by it. Like, oh my gosh, I love this. I really love what I do.
So, okay. So how, once you had this realization and you said, okay, like you're already coaching people. So you have like a built-in audience, right? I also think it's really neat that you had the courage to share that with all of them and say like, hey, like, look at what happened. Like, look at what I did the other day. And this is the outcome. And now I'm wondering all these different things. Like, that's really cool that you opened up like that because you could have easily just kept that to yourself or just talked about it with your husband or your mom or your best friend or whatever and kind of sat on it. But how have you incorporated all of this into your life?
Yeah. So the first thing I did is I had altered my weight loss program and added in neuro-linguistic programming because I found so that piece of my life is I just altered that to bring in the NLP for the full-on healing, to release the limiting beliefs, because I felt like when we women are trying to lose weight, and this probably goes to men, but my focal point are the women, is that we always have to work so dang hard. It's like you can never take a break. You've always got to be on. It's like always thinking about it, always doing this, always. And I was like, there is something that can be done here. We should not have to lose 50 pounds and then have to be controlled by that 50 pounds to not gain it back.
Right. Yeah.
So what I uncovered is the limiting beliefs within, the lack of belief of it being possible for you, or weight loss is impossible, or I always have to struggle, or I'm not worthy, or whatever it might be. So I incorporated that into the program. I don't know if I'm answering the question in the way you wanted me to answer it, but
I want you to answer it however you want to answer it.
Okay. So that's one piece of it. I altered that. I changed the name of it. My company's name is Be the Change You Need. And the acronym of it is beautifully BTCHYN, BTCHYN, right? So perfect. So I changed that program to Bitchin' Body Revolution. And then I incorporated She Rises, which is my 6-month program where I work with women to help them unravel, upgrade, and up level to become the exact woman that they desire to be, to boldly create the life that they choose to live. So that's the second piece that I incorporated. And the third piece is the energy healing and the work that I do in person, but also virtually. That's the bulk of the healing that I do, is the virtual piece of it.
Yeah.
So that's how I've incorporated it in on the business front. As far as myself, is really every single day making sure that I have time to do my ground clear protect, my soul aligned journaling, and a meditation every single day. It's become such a need and a love of mine to incorporate that daily.
Okay, you're the second person now that I've met in the last few weeks that's talked about a similar type morning routine that they're just absolutely obsessed with. So I'd love to hear more about like the journaling, the meditation, the, what did you say, grounding, clearing, and something else. Like I'd love to learn. Yeah. So tell me more about that. Cause I think my morning routine could be improved. Cause right now it consists of coffee. So
I mean, coffee is definitely a necessity.
Yeah.
I've never graduated to be a coffee drinker. I have to be honest.
Really?
No, if I drink coffee, it needs to have a bottle of creamer of sugar in it. Right. And then there's just no point. I could just as well go get a bottle of strawberry milk.
No, it's so funny that you say that, because sometimes like I'll see like a TikTok video or something of somebody making like their iced coffee. And I'm like, you poured a third of the bottle of that creamer in there. Like that's really not coffee anymore. That's dessert.
Right?
You know,
that's my coffee. If we can kill the coffee taste, Perfect, right? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I love it. So every single morning, like I love that you share that. I love that you are aware of that. The number one thing to changing anything is just awareness, right? And when you become aware of it, this is the key that we miss. Like when
Yeah.
you become aware of it, that is your inner being, that is your higher self saying, Nikki, it's time to make a change. So that's when we become aware of
100%.
it. That's our sign to say, oh, okay, something's got to shift. So every morning when I get up, the very first thing I do is I sit up on the edge of my bed, I put my feet on the floor, and I ground. And when I ground, it's like whatever element comes up through the floor into the bottoms of your feet. Usually for me, it's like these twigs and branches. Some of my clients are like, it's a metal pole. I'm like, well, holy hell, you need some deep grounding. Like,
Yeah.
some days it's like it's roses, like I'll see these vines of roses coming up. It really depends. So it's whatever you like your mind intuitively allows, it's what's going to come up through the ground. And you see it coming through your feet all the way up. I let it come all the way up to my shoulders, over my shoulders, back down and back down through my feet. And this is grounding you in. And when I do that, like I just did that, Nikki, and if you tipped this chair upside down, I would still be like sitting here. I wouldn't fall. Like I'm so grounded. And it feels so good. It's like you've got this foundation that has just been instilled. And once you ground, then you clear. And the purpose of clearing is getting rid of any negative energy, anything that possibly came in, because when we're sleeping, we're sleeping, but that doesn't mean the rest of the world is sleeping, if you get what I mean.
Right.
So we can take on energy. And people think negative things of you at times. I mean, we're humans. There's envy. There's all of these emotions that go amongst and between us. And so if somebody, it's midnight, and for whatever reason, you cross somebody's mind and they're like, oh yeah, I don't really care for her. That's a download that comes to you that without you even knowing it, it has come into your energetic feeling. So we want to clear. So after you ground, right. So, and you see this hole at the top of your crown, right at the top of your head. That's your crown chakra. You use one of three. It's whatever feels right. Fire, water, wind. I'm fire all day long.
Is that your sky? Are you a fire sign too?
I'm an Aries. So I think
Aries is a fire sign, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's very strong for me. And I just always think of the ram, like they're like, right? Fire, absolutely fire. So for me, it's fire. Like when I think of you, for whatever reason, I think of wind. Like I feel like you are definitely just like you flow, you do, you go. Like I feel like you're so wind oriented. Absolutely. But for you, when you drop into it, you'll know when you do this. So the clearing, you see whichever element, wind, water, fire, coming through your crown, and you just visually, your eyes are closed, you just watch it move through your entire body. And the cool thing is like if you're really visually connected, you can see these black poofs. And that's negative energy that's leaving your body because you're expelling it out. And you go all the way through your body, out through the bottoms of your feet. And when you're done doing that, you just feel so relaxed because the yuck is gone. You're cleared. It's out. And then the last is protect. I love the snow globe look, like that glass of it. So you see that glass at the bottom of your feet and you watch it come all the way up visually. Again, your eyes are closed. You see this bubble come up above your head. And as you do that, it's like your ears change because you've now been vacuumed in this bubble of protection. And then you set your intentional speech of all negative energy bounces off my bubble, gets sent back to sender and divine with love. This is important. There's enough crud and crap in the world. Let's not send more toxicity out. Let's send love. And when we send love to the person that chose to hurt us, we're choosing to alchemize what they sent to us and turn it into love, peace, joy, and happiness and send it back to them. And hopefully it improves their life. And in that one person that life is improved, there'll be a trickle effect at some point, right?
So all negative energy. Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay.
No, I was going to say it would be interesting to know if the person who, say someone like thought something really shitty about you last night, right? It would be interesting to know if when you said that, intention, sending it back to them like with love, if like they got like a little like, I feel better, or I feel good, or like a little,
I think they do. They sure as hell did not think it was coming from me, but
right.
they're like, oh, my grandma's thinking about me again.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So all negative energy bounces off my bubble, gets sent back to sender and divine with love. Only that of my highest power is allowed inside of my bubble. And that's just saying that only good comes in. You're protected. You're fully protected. So that's the first step of that ground clear protect. That's what I do every single morning. And there are times where I know I'm going into a sticky situation that I'll do that again. If there's my husband, for instance, if he's just having a cruddy day, I am a people pleaser by nature because of the trauma that I've experienced growing up and things that I've gone through, that fear of abandonment. So if I know he's coming home and he's had a tough day and he's going to do his typical withdraw of, he just needs silence. He just needs silence, and I'm not silent. I need to ground clear protect, because if I don't, I am automatically going to believe that he's leaving me. He doesn't love me. He doesn't, just because he's being silent and he needs some silence. The poor guy.
Yeah.
And here I'm over here being like, oh, you're done with me, right? You're leaving me. He's like, oh my God, I just need silence, right?
He's like, I just need 5 minutes, please.
And I'm over there like shaking, like 5 minutes is the end of our marriage. Like, oh my gosh. So I'll do my ground clear protect then, so that when he comes in, it's not going to come into my space, because it's not meant for me. It's just about him. His silence is about him. So this is perfect to use in those difficult situations that you're walking into. Holidays, let's be real. Family celebrations. I do not anymore walk into a situation without doing my ground clear protect, ever. And it's been a game changer for me. So that's the one thing that I do. Yeah. And the soul aligned journaling, it's 5 minutes. And I mean, it can be more than that. Some days I really get carried away with it, but 5 minutes is kind of that rule of thumb. And it's not your journaling of normal. This is what I teach my women. So I'll give this to all your listeners. In my She Rises program, I teach how to go away from the typical journaling. Usually when we journal, it's like we date it and we're like, well, today on the way to work, there was a traffic jam and I got flicked off and it made me so angry. Like we recount our day, and it's full of this negative vibe and negative energy of what happened. I would not journal ever. I would get asked to journal. You would have therapists that would say journal. And I didn't enjoy it because it was regurgitating the crap that I just went through. It's like the news. It's like watching the news. And I just couldn't do it because it would make me more depressed. So I learned, and this came from one of my guides. I'm intuitively guided, and it was soul aligned journaling. And I was guided through of what to do. And it's writing all of your intentions. It's like your soul aligned journaling of what you want. What's your future look like? So it's all this positivity. Like, I'm a money magnet. Money flows to me easily and effortlessly. I'm so grateful that money comes to me left and right, or, just that. Or I'm so grateful that weight loss happens to me easily and effortlessly. And all these things of what you desire, it's writing those things, and it's about the feeling of it. That's where you get into that soul alignment of it, is that you feel it, because that's where you begin to create the reality of what you desire in your life, is from your mind, body, soul connection to it. Because that's what God, the universe, the higher power, that's what they speak to, and what they feel is the feeling that you put out. So that's a soul aligned journaling that I do.
Okay. I like it. I'm going to give this a try.
Yes, do it. And doing the ground clear protect, it's like maybe a minute. So really you're just adding 6 minutes to your day, and it's worth it. It's so worth it.
No, I think it's awesome. I mean, there's so many, it's funny you brought up journaling, because that's been a struggle for me as well. Cause I'm not really a Dear Diary kind of gal. And then I've had some guided journals that they felt like almost redundant, where it's like, I don't want to write down like the same thing every single day, even though some of the things like I should be telling myself every single day. Right. But, and then I was introduced at this retreat that I went into too, the morning pages concept where you're supposed to just like sit and just kind of like brain dump like right in the morning. But it's like, all handwritten and supposed to be like 3 pages worth. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that. That doesn't sound enjoyable to me.
No, I'm with you.
So, yes, I mean, I think what the coolest part about all of this, mind, body, spirit connection type stuff that is out there and all this energetic work and everything, I think the coolest part about it is that there is truly something for everyone. Yeah. And I mean, at its core, I think a lot of the things are very similar because it's all really relating to energy but there's so many different ways to get to the result. And I love that. So it's like, you can really find what works for you. So that's why I was so curious, like, well, tell me more. Tell me more.
Yeah. And I do. It's like, it's what's your flavor and what works for you. And there's no one way. It's like, for me, the same with weight loss. There's no cookie cutter process. And I think with the energy work, there's no cookie cutter because like meditation, like some people will tell you absolutely cannot walk and do a meditation. Doesn't work. I don't agree with that. Because your subconscious mind is hearing it. Subconsciously, it's taking it in, even though consciously you're making sure you're not getting hit by a vehicle or eaten by a bear, right? Like consciously you're alert, but subconsciously where the meditation needs to go to anyway is that where we are 95% of our life is that subconscious space. That is absolutely where the meditation is being picked up anyway. So if you're walking, it's being downloaded. It's the same as when you fall asleep. Yeah. There are some out there that I've heard that say meditation while you're sleeping does not work. I have found it does. And I've also heard others say absolutely, because subconsciously you're hearing it.
I've heard great things. Yeah. I've heard great things about those like nighttime meditations that like, maybe they're like 10, 20 minutes or whatever. And you put it on, people are like, oh, I fall asleep in the first 5 but it still plays the whole way through. So something's getting picked up in there.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. Yeah. It's really what works for you. And I think we're in this culture of there's only one way. There's only there's like only one way you can try it once at a time. Like do this. And if it doesn't work, well then do this and then do this. And you're trying all these things instead of listening to yourself and asking. Like that's one thing that I've really learned to embody for myself is just ask myself, does this feel right? Like, is it a hell yes or is it a hell no? And when we intuitively start, because we're all intuitives. I'm an intuitive healer. I'm not more special than the next person. And I'm not gifted. I've just become a vessel, but that's because it's my calling. We're all intuitive. Every single being. We've stopped at a stop sign and we're supposed to take a left, but something tells us to go a right. And thank goodness we listened and we went right because there was an accident down there that if we would have been there at the exact timing that we are every single day, we would have been part of it. But because we listened to our intuition, we went the long way around and we were not part of that accident, right? Yeah. So if we drop into that and let ourselves guide ourselves and just ask, does this feel like a good fit for me? Yeah. And then allow that yes or no to come forward. You'll know if it's a right, either just a feeling of the knowing, or you'll hear a yes or a no, or you might even visually see a yes or a no flash in your mind space.
Yeah. No, I really love that concept of checking in with yourself instead of feeling like, because I think what a lot of people end up doing, and I know I've done it myself, is like, been like, no, you have to do this. Like you have to journal every day, or you have to meditate, or you have to do this. And then it's like, you're just end up doing it to check it off the list when like you're getting no value out of it. So I think that's really great. And to say like, okay, like, hey, is this serving me? Am I excited about this? Like, that's what I think everyone should want, is like what you said. And what this other girl that I met, a couple of weeks ago said, she was like, I love my morning routine. Like, it's my favorite part of the day. And you were like, oh, I love it. It's like, it gets me going. And I'm like, okay, I want to feel that way. I feel that way about my coffee, but I want a few other things in there. So wait, I need to ask, I have 3 questions, but the first one, what was your mom's response to the coffee cup?
Oh, she bawled. Like she didn't know how to take it. I think I hope and I pray to God that I never experience what it feels like to lose a child. Like that, like my 3 boys. So I can't fathom what my mom is going through to have to bury her daughter who died at 39. I just can't imagine. And so I feel like my mom wants to believe that she can hear Trisha, but I think that she's scared to believe that she can, because the other part of it is she's afraid that she just won't be able to. And then she'll be disappointed. Or like us women think, or I thought, like, I'm just not going to be lucky enough. I don't get to have that. Right. So she loved it. Absolutely loved it. She bawled. She cherishes it. But I know that a piece of her is like, yeah, Tara just found this all on her own and gave it to me and pretended it was from Trisha. And that's okay, because it's not my job to try to convince her, because if I do, then I'm taking her off of her life path that she's meant to travel. And I'm trying to tell her and convince her. And that's not my right to do that. And I'm at this point now, I am so okay with her believing what she wants to believe, because I know in my soul that what I know is exactly what I know. Like, there is no doubt in my mind. Right. So I'm so confident in it that I'm okay with her believing what she believes and letting her.
No, I think that's beautiful. And that's like, so it's so kind and it's so respectful. Well, you know, like you said, kind of like letting everybody have their own journey and their own path, and letting her grieve in the way that she needs to grieve. But I am glad that hopefully she felt some sense of just, you know, like love from beyond with that mug, or maybe when she drinks out of it, it's like she has her special conversations with your sister or something.
Yeah, I hope she does. She would never share that with me, because that would show emotion. So she
So do you still hear from your sister?
Oh gosh, yeah. Really cool experience. This is like very woo-woo. Is it okay that I share it?
Oh my God, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I drop in and I ask her to come forward. Like, I open my Golden Gate portal of communication. I just ask her to come forward. And so I one night was getting ready for bed, and I'd taken my this hair scrunchie, in fact, off, and I was taking it out of my hair. And it was gone. Nikki, it was gone. I looked everywhere. I looked on the floor. I looked behind the door. I looked in the toilet, which the door was in the way of the toilet. But I was like, maybe it fell in the toilet somehow.
You're like, did it just like shoot off your wrist?
Yeah, but I didn't see it. I didn't feel that. It should have just been stuck in my hair. And it was nowhere. And I looked, it had to have been like 5 minutes that I was looking for this. And all of a sudden, like, Trisha popped in my head. And I said, all right, Trisha Ann, where in the hell, that's not what I said, but I didn't say hell, is my hair like crunchy? And it was across the hallway from where I was standing. There is no way that it just ended up there. It was, she put it there. And I could hear laughter. Like, I could hear laughter. And I knew it was her. I knew it was her just coming to me and letting me know that she was there and playing fun. I was the prankster when we were growing up. I played all the pranks on her all the time. The rest of my family.
So now she's like extracting her revenge on you.
Yeah, exactly. And so in that moment, I said, okay, fine. All right. I want to feel that you're here. I want to feel. And I sat down in our bedroom, and I just sat there pretzel style, and I put my hands out and I said, I want to feel your hands. And Trisha, with her bone disease, she had bone cysts on her left hand. And so her hand was deformed. It was very deformed. And so I felt the pressure. I knew her hands were in my hands. And so I cupped them and I went like this. And I stopped and I said, Trisha, your hands, these aren't your hands. And she said, of course they're not, silly, because I'm not in my body. I'm not in my body. I'm in spirit form, which made sense to me.
Yeah.
And then I've been doing a practice session. A friend of mine, we just practice connecting to spirit through the mediumship vessel. And I asked her to drop in to Trisha and see if Trisha would come forward for her to see what she could receive. And as she did that, I was also in it, intuitively pulling from my friend to experience it. And I knew instantly Trisha's in the womb. And so she has crossed over and she has chosen her next life that she's coming into.
Oh, okay. I was like, what does she mean by the womb? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Whoa.
So at some point in time, she will be back into human form, but she's currently in the womb waiting to be born and going into her next lifetime. So yes.
Oh my gosh. That's wild. That is definitely borderline extra woo-woo, but I mean, I love to believe things like that though.
Yeah.
I mean, I have said more than once that I strongly believe that my dog is my grandfather.
Ah,
I,
we come
I,
back. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. And we decide what we're coming back as.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think next time I should choose to be a donkey because I love donkeys and I would love to kick a little bit of
Yeah.
ass. Like I think,
Right? I
right?
mean, and it's interesting too because my dog has had like the best life, and he and my mom have a very special relationship, just like she did with her dad. So, the first
Oh,
time I alerted my entire family of this revelation that I had, I was probably
yes.
about 6 glasses of red wine in, and I think they were all like, "Okay, Nikki," but I still believe it. I think they have the same eyes.
Yeah, you know what? They probably do. They probably do. Absolutely. I believe it. Now, if you would have asked me probably 2 years ago, I've always believed in angels. I mean, I lost my dad when I was 15 after knowing him
Mm.
for 3 years. I'd only
Oh.
got 3 years with him. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, I've always believed that angels are amongst us. I've seen my dad. He came to
Mm-hmm.
me at night and
Mm-hmm.
I visually saw him. My son came to me and said, Mom, Fred's in my bedroom. When he was 5, I'm like, Fred? Who's
Oh,
Fred?
right. Who's
And
Fred?
right? And he's like, I don't know, it's a guy. And he's wearing this plaid button-up shirt. It's red and black, and he's got a beard. And there was nobody there. But he said, Mom, he was right here. And
Oh
I
my
knew Trey
gosh.
wasn't lying. I knew he
Mm-hmm.
saw a spirit. So I've
Mm-hmm.
always had a very strong knowing that they existed. And my grandma
Uh-huh.
she'd always say she was superstitious, and so it's always been a belief of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't ever know or believe that I would be a healer that would go to this
Yeah.
level of knowing the woo woo and living the
Yeah.
woo woo. So
Yeah.
it's been a wild journey, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to continue to grow and get stronger in being the
Yeah.
vessel. I think that
Mm-hmm.
I love that, Nikki, to be able to say, like, I'm a vessel to help you heal. That
Mm-hmm.
feels so amazing to have that, to be blessed with that ability, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm
Yeah.
just a vessel to help you heal. That's it. And I
I
think it's
think that's
amazing.
so neat. I mean, I'm certainly a believer in all this because I've had, people who have said, like, oh, hey, like I'm clairvoyant. Like, are you open to
Yeah.
receiving a message? Or there's a woman that I had a one on one virtual session with one time for, energy clearing. And, she's saying all these different things. And it was funny because she told me, she was like, hey, just so you know, like when this happens, like I usually get congested or like my nose starts running or maybe I'll get sneezy. And she
Yeah.
totally was. And at one point she was like, wow, she was like, this is a lot. And I was like, okay,
Mhm.
but it was just the whole thing was so fascinating. And I mean, I think that it's foolish to think that, we're just these like living, breathing, beings that when we pass on that there's nothing left. And I think energy is so real.
Yeah.
And I love learning about others' experiences because you seem so incredibly fulfilled. You seem like you're glowing talking about this and you seem so happy and like
Yeah.
fulfilled, I think is the best word. And it's like you're truly like living your purpose.
Yes. Yeah. Finally. Finally.
Mhm.
I think about I'm 46 and I can't even be angry that I
Mhm.
finally got to find where I belong at 46 years old. And
Yeah.
listening to other healers talk, I now know that I'm in the right space because they'll say, we always feel like we don't belong. Like you don't have a
Mhm.
best friend because you are a friend to everybody. Everybody's like, wow,
Mhm.
you get me. It's like you're speaking directly to me. It's like you know me better than I know myself. Like, and that's
Mhm.
what everybody will say back to me just because without me even knowing it,
Mhm.
intuitively I was picking up things and I knew when they weren't okay. I knew
Mhm.
when something was wrong. I knew when I was supposed to check in. I had no idea that's what I was doing or I was being
Mhm.
called or directed to do it, but I would say what needed to be said. Like earlier on an energy clearing session
Mhm.
a limiting belief release work in NLP with one of my clients, I rattled off her values, like not meaning to give them to her. I'm like, for example, these might be your values. And she
Mhm.
sat and stared at me,
Uh-huh.
dumbfounded, and she pulled out her paper and she held them up, and exactly what I said were the exact values, that
Whoa.
trust, honesty, commitment, and priority, and I forget the other one that was there. They were, yeah, I forget the other one, but she had them written down. She had them written down, and it was,
Wow.
that's what I mean by, they're always like, you get me, you know me better. It's like you're speaking. I always was, without even knowing how I was. So I finally feel like I'm living my purpose and I've stepped into it.
Yeah. I mean, how exciting. And it's like, where do you envision yourself in the next year with all of this?
You know, it's so fun that you asked that, because before, when people would ask me this, you go to these workshops or you do the virtual workshops and they would ask that, I instantly would exit it. I'd be like, I'm not doing this. This is stupid. This shit doesn't work. I'm not dreaming a year, 5 years into the future. And so now in a year, oh my gosh, I'm speaking on stages. I am going to have helped millions of women just from being on the stages, from my healings that I'm doing, from She Rises, from BTCHYN Body Revolution. Things are going to be growing exponentially in the next year as I continue to harness being the vessel of helping women heal and get my message out. And that's a work in progress of being confident enough to do that. That is also a space that I have to work on, because I've been that woman that has always felt like I needed that external validation, and that what I had to say, you know, I'm not smart enough. I'm nobody special. I'm not, like, who am I to think that I can step up and give this piece of advice? Like, you're a nobody, right? You know, those limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
It's a work. I'm a work in my own progress. I'm a masterpiece in making. And as I continue to work through those, I find myself all of a sudden saying, okay, today's the day that I do this. And so as I continue to do that, more and more of me will present myself out there to the big, wide open world. And I will continue to be that vessel to help women in one way or another with healing.
Awesome. I can totally relate to what you're saying about not wanting to, you know, answer a question or being like, okay, I'm done here, like, bye. And I think that it's so true. Like, I had this moment at this retreat that I was at a few weeks ago where I realized that I wasn't procrastinating on doing things because of the reasons I was telling myself I was procrastinating them. I was procrastinating on them because there's just simply things I don't want to do.
Yeah. Okay.
And having that realization that, like, no, I don't want to do that. And I don't want to do that. And that's why, like, it hasn't been, you know, part of my life that's been like moving forward, is because I actively, like, just don't want to do it. So now it's like I'm putting all my energy into doing all these things that I do want to do. And I'm like, ooh, and now I can see that year ahead and that 2 years ahead. And I'm like, oh yeah. And similar to what you were saying, it's like that's why I'm like, oh yes, because you're so like in it and you know that you're on the right path. So you can easily and confidently and comfortably say, like, this is what the next year looks like. This is the path that I'm walking. This is where I'm going. And I know that these things are going to unfold. Maybe not in the order that I might envision, but they're still all going to unfold, and it's going to be awesome.
Exactly. And isn't it amazing? Like, when you start making the declaration of, I'm doing this because I want to, not because I feel obligated that I have to, how all of a sudden you feel so confident in that space, and then everything just starts to happen and it feels good, and there's no more restriction. Like, I feel like when we're doing things that we don't want to, we're restricted versus we're expanding. And you can tell that, like, when you sit with it, you're like, does this restrict me or expand me? And you can feel it. Right? You can feel the expansion in your body. So good. I love that you're doing that. That's so good that you're experiencing that.
Absolutely. Well, tell people how they can find you, because I guarantee people are going to want to.
Thank you.
Yes, please share all the things, and I'll put it in the show notes too, but still just go ahead and share.
Yeah. Good thing that you put in the show notes, because, you know, I'm an identity shifter, so life reinvention expert, which means some of my social media platforms have been a little bit confused because I've been trying to find myself for, you know, 40 some years. So it's a little bit different for each place. So Facebook is just plain up Tara Wiskow if you go there. But Instagram and TikTok, those are the two platforms. On TikTok, it's Tara-Wiskow. On Instagram, it's Tara.Wiskow because it wouldn't let me use a dash. So those would be the two social media places that you can find me. I have my podcast, Be the Change You Need. You can find me there on Apple or Spotify. And then, of course, my website, Tara, Tara dash WIS as in Sam, KOW.com. And you can find all my information as well as my freebie. I have a 4-part freebie that's a video series helping you shift doing 4 different shifts to step into your most confident self to attract the life you want. That's on my website if anybody's interested in looking at and finding that.
Awesome. Well, that's so exciting. Thank you so much for sharing all of your stories and your expertise. And like I said, I just love seeing you all lit up and chasing your dreams and living your purpose. So thank you for your time. And as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I love hearing from you. Tara, thanks again. And we'll see you guys all next week.
Thank you.